Now I'm going to explain how to adjust the tension on the line. Having the right tension on the slip setting during the tail spool reloading is very important to get the best performance from the probe as it drops through the water, and also to make sure you don't have any knots in the line that can occur if the tail spool hasn't been properly wound. You can see here I have the clutch in the slip position, so quite a lot of friction there. The spool won't rotate freely, but there is a way to adjust the amount of friction that the clutch imparts to the spool during the reloading procedure with the clutch in the slip position. So that's what we're going to do. To adjust the tension on the line during reloading, there's a small screw that can be adjusted behind this screw. So the first thing to do is take this little screw out, make sure you use the right key. So remove that, and that allows access to the small screw in here that you can adjust with a very small flathead screwdriver. This screw in here adjusts the voltage that is applied to the clutch when the winch is in the slip position here. So you're increasing or decreasing the voltage that's applied to the clutch. As you increase or decrease the voltage, the level of the clutch force between the plates is either lessened or increased, which either increases or decreases the friction in the winch spool and the tension on the line. So as you increase the voltage, the clutch plates get closer together, and so there's more friction. As you reduce the voltage, they get further apart, and that there's less friction. And eventually you decrease the voltage to such an extent that the spool will just rotate freely. Now I'm going to explain how you actually measure the tension so you can properly adjust the clutch setting. So here we've got a simple fish scale. You can use a digital one or an old style scale like this, and it's really simple. This is going to measure the pull on the line in pounds, and we can use that to adjust the clutch. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just attach the line onto the top of the scale here, and then we'll simply hook the scale on the block here, and then take up the slack. Okay, so always make sure the clutch is in the slip position. If you try and do this with the clutch in the full position, there's going to be quite an interesting outcome, which will not be very good for this and anyone who's standing nearby. So make sure slip position only. So then what you can do is put the winch motor in the fast setting. What that will do when it settles down a bit is it will pull on the scale here with a consistent tension, and that's currently reading about 3 pounds. So there's only 3 pounds of force as the winch is pulling, and that's a measure of the amount of friction being put onto the winch spool by the clutch. 3 pounds is a little bit low. Ideally we want this to read 4.5 pounds. So we can adjust the little screw to increase the tension, which will increase this number here on the scale. That's what I'm going to do now. So turning the screwdriver anti-clockwise will increase the tension. So just moving down now, we're at 4.5, 5 pounds, going a bit further to 6 pounds. You can actually maybe be able to see that the scale is starting to vibrate a little bit. and you can hear a slight change in tone, and the spool is starting to move backwards and forwards a little bit, and that is because the clutch inside the winch is biting. The plates are closer together, they're starting biting, and if I continue to apply more voltage by turning the screw further, then it's going to get they're going to get closer and closer together, and essentially at some point they'll become fully locked, and the line will be pulled this way with a significant force. So right now I'm at 6.5 pounds, which is too much, so I'm going to take it back down to 4.5. Going clockwise to take the tension down. You may be able to hear a change in tone of the winch. So right now I'm at 1.5 pounds. So you can see here there's no tension on it at all. So doing a rewind with the clutch set with only 1.5 pounds really isn't that different from doing a rewind with the clutch in the off position. So this position here with the very low tension is going to give you a very poor wind, and it will be a soft wind which will be not good for the probe characteristics as it's dropping through the water. This can cause knots, big knots in the line as it's coming back down, because it's coming back to the ship. Also very erratic drop rates. So we definitely don't want to be using a 1.5 pound tension. So we're going to take it back up again, increasing it. The tone of the winch changes. So here we have 4.5 pounds. And that winch is now nicely adjusted for rewinding.